Well, it is time for a new video lesson, a new sample where we're going to explore a new concept. New for some people and maybe something obvious for others. But, anyways, I believe it is good to learn new terms and try to use amazing vocabulary and amazing ideas, especially when it comes to very specific task tools like this. Let me read this out for you. There are different methods businesses use to increase their sales. What are the different ways companies use to increase sales, and which one is the most effective? This is a hybrid topic. Again, this is not the first time I'm doing it for you. We have two questions, and actually, I don't think this essay is too difficult. But when it comes to using terms like this, I believe many students fail because they do have maybe nice ideas, but they don't always use collocations like this to explain their thoughts. And I believe it is cool if I can teach you how this can be used in one of the main bodies, maybe in this one, to show the examiner how beautifully we can explain our thoughts and how specifically we can use the best examples available. Celebrity endorsement, if I have to explain it simply, is using the brand of a celebrity to promote your product. Why am I saying it? Because we have increase your sales of a business. That's why they mentioned this company. And if you go to Google, this is the definition the Google AI gives. Celebrity endorsement is a marketing strategy where a famous person, actor, athlete, musician promotes a product or a service using their popularity and image to influence consumer perception, build brand awareness, and boost sales by transferring the celebrity's positive attributes to their brand. The thing is, does it always work? Actually, no, because sometimes it works in a negative way when the celebrity's negative PR works against the company's image. But even that sometimes works in a good way because people say that any attention is good attention when it comes to a business. So the power of a celebrity now, in my mind, is probably the most effective thing you can do in your business. But before this, they also said what are the different ways companies use to increase their sales. So I can talk about discounts, I can talk about sale seasons, we can talk about things like Black Friday. There are many marketing related campaigns that we can use, but because it's a hybrid and because it asks for one, the most effective, I thought maybe it's the perfect opportunity to look at celebrity endorsement and write a perfect main body too, where we can explore this concept fully. And again, let me just simplify this and write down a good definition. Maybe I should say is the use of a celebrity's fame, brand, right, to make a product or a service more popular. That's the way I see it. If I have to simplify it, of course. And because it's a hybrid, actually, we can go with three main bodies as well, depending on how many different ways I want to explore in the first main body. But I think I did three main bodies or four main bodies last time. So today I'd like to just keep it simple and have two clear main bodies. And before I start writing, I just want to show you how truly powerful celebrity endorsement is, because some of you might think there's a better marketing strategy out there, and maybe there is, but in 2026, it's February 13th now. If you look around yourself, if you look in social media, celebrity influence is unprecedented, it's unparalleled. And actually, even if you look historically, there are certain brands that developed because of a person, and sometimes that person was a famous human being. I have the best example possible. It is the Nike Jordans, ladies and gentlemen. If you say Wikipedia, you will have Air Jordan. If you go to their page, you have the name Jordan, and you guys know that this is a person. This is Michael Jordan, the greatest basketball player of all time, one of the most famous athletes of all time. Air Jordan is a line of basketball and sportswear shoes produced by Nike. The shoes, related apparel, and accessories are now marketed under the Jordan brand. The first Air Jordan shoe was produced for basketball player Michael Jordan during his time with the Chicago Bulls on November 17, 1984, and released to the public on April 1, 1985. The shoes were designed for Nike by Peter Moore and other people. The Jordan logo, known as the Jumpman, originated from a photograph where they pictured Michael Jordan dunking the basketball. Now, this is an entire business focused on one name, Michael Jordan. Do we think that this line of shoes would be popular without this person? Probably not. And just for you to understand how big this business is, we can say evaluation of Air Jordan, right? In millions, please. No. Financial evaluation of Air Jordan. Okay, there we go. Now we're talking. Now we have the numbers. The Jordan brand, a subsidiary, difficult to pronounce, of Nike, is a multi-billion-dollar entity with annual revenues reaching 6.6 billion in 2023. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money, ladies and gentlemen. And that's just one example of how powerful it is to use the image of a person. And by the way, when we say image, we have to understand, going back here, why were people so obsessed with Michael Jordan? Well, because he was an exceptional athlete. He was amazing. So when children and teenagers looked at him, it wasn't just a shoe. It was also the dream of how they could one day maybe become successful and great as Michael Jordan. So it's the associations you build with a brand. And sometimes it's not just about being as successful as that person. Sometimes it's just a matter of choice, just lifestyle decisions, or you trying to attach yourself to that name as much as possible as a fan. Because now if you think about, if you just look at Lay's, if I just Google Lay's, right? So I see Lay's chips over here, but I think about Messi. Why? Because if I say Lay's and Messi, there we go. You know, or if I say, for example, UCL and Nissan, I see this. Why do I see that? Because I'm a football fan. So when I watch the Champions League nights, sometimes I see an advertisement by this car company, you know, and when I go to their website, you know, I say Nissan, build, and price, for example. Let's see what models they have. I go to their website. Yeah, I'm thinking about cars here, of course, but while building a car on their website, right, choosing the models, I'll be still thinking about UCL because the Champions League is sponsored by them. It's a collaboration of the automotive business and sport, but that's how we build associations. So I'm looking at Nissan, but at the same time I'm thinking about UCL. I'm looking at Lay's, but at the same time I'm thinking or remembering who Lionel Messi is. And the same works with Ronaldo's endorsements and many other people. So it doesn't matter whether you like the product or not. Sometimes it's just the association. And association can become awareness. And awareness is attention. And attention is, as we see in 2026, is money. But if we go back, before we talk about celebrity endorsement, we can also talk about the simplest of the simplest things. We can just talk about social media usage, which is called online presence. And like I said 8 minutes ago, we can talk about discounts as well. bundle pricing as well, where they say get two and one is free, or some huge discounts like only today you can get it at 50% off, and you start thinking, oh, maybe today is the day to do that because tomorrow it's going to be expensive again. There's a lot of price manipulation, of course, in marketing, but it works. It does. Sometimes it works with me too. I'm not going to lie to you. And now that everything is clear, I think we can start writing this essay. It's going to be cool. I'll keep it simple with just two main bodies, and my focus is going to be writing an amazing main body 2 where we explore celebrity endorsement and maybe write down some amazing examples. So, first we paraphrase, and I'm going to say this. Increasing sales is the priority of any successful business. Let's be honest, if your business is successful, you have to increase sales. You keep making money. You cannot be a successful business and not make money. I think that's how it works. So increasing sales is the priority of any successful business, right? There are many ways to improve profitability, right? Profitability. So there are many ways to improve profitability, but the most effective one in the current digital market, let's say in the current digital and social media market, maybe I don't need to say that. Why am I talking about the market now? Let me just say, but the most effective one in the current how about contemporary? But the most effective one in contemporary time is celebrity endorsement. Okay, so there are many ways to improve profitability, but the most effective one in contemporary time is celebrity endorsement. I'm still not sure about contemporary time. Maybe I should have used something simpler. The most effective one. Yeah, you know what? I don't think I need it. Maybe I should just keep it simple with 2 sentences like that. So, increasing sales is the priority of any successful business. There are many ways to improve profitability, but the most effective one is celebrity endorsement. So, there are many ways to improve profitability, but the king is celebrity endorsement. I'm not convinced if it's a perfect introduction, but it's good enough. Maybe I should just focus on both main bodies and then come back here to change anything. So, there are many tools. There are many marketing tools, right? So there are many marketing tools that various businesses can use to increase sales. Let's say a simple or these can be as simple as using discounts, or was that bundle pricing? I gotta make sure I'm using the right word. Bundle pricing. Strategy where multiple products or services are packaged together and sold as a single unit for a lower price than if purchased individually. Yeah, I do think that's what I thought about. So let's go back. But let me just start with discounts first. So these can be as simple as using discounts to convince a customer that they are that they are making a rational choice. Remember, it's price manipulation. So when you're buying something at a discounted price, what they're doing is they're convincing you that you're very smart and that you're buying something for a much cheaper price. Maybe it is, and maybe it's not, but that's what happens in the mind of a customer. So, by the way, when I said these, I talked about tools. So this is a reference to tools. And that's how we start the sentence, which is really cool for cohesion, I think. So these can be as simple, as easy as using discounts to convince the customer that they are making a rational choice, right? So that's number one. Seasonal sales are also quite effective, right? Especially in a clothing business where let's say where clothes can be sold Do I need to specify it? I don't think so. So seasonal sales are also quite effective, especially in the clothing business where customers are given an opportunity to buy clothes for a much cheaper price, but in a limited span period, right? But in a limited time frame, like for a few days. It kind of works if you think about it, especially if you think that you're buying clothes for a long time, so maybe it's for the next season, next year. So seasonal sales, we have discounts, right? And we can talk about targeting too. We can talk about social media. And maybe we should say what matters the most in the current digitalized market is having online presence to connect with the customers, right? So what matters the most in the current digitalized market is having online presence to connect with customers, right? Thanks to targeting in social media, for example, brands, or let's say businesses can find new customers, or maybe we should say businesses can increase their clientele, right? Was clientele the right word though? Let me just say this, right? Clientele, meaning clients collectively, the customers of a shop, bar, place of entertainment. Yeah, that's fine. Clients collectively, I think I can use that. But I forgot to say bundle pricing, so maybe here I could say bundle pricing is also relevant, right? As people may prefer to buy items in a combined group rather than overpaying for a single item. There you go. Nice. That's going to be a huge main body though. It's like 100 words, 115, but it's okay. Today I'm going with 2 balanced main bodies, I guess, so that's fine. Bundle pricing is also relevant as people may prefer to buy items in a combined group rather than overpaying for a single item. What matters the most in the current digitalized market is having online presence to connect with customers. Thanks to targeting and social media, for example, businesses can increase their clientele. Yeah, bundle pricing, seasonal sales, discounts, targeting. That's why I said many. So this was the point about this main body, because I was saying many of these tools can be described in one main body, but as more like mentioning them and not exploring them fully, because the only larger concept that I want to explore is celebrity endorsement. So here I'm going to say, among a number of ways to increase sales, arguably the best one, arguably means most probably. Arguably means if you want to, we can debate, but probably I will win because my opinion is better. That's what arguably means. Arguably can also mean objectively most of the time. And again, you can disagree. It's okay if you want to disagree, but if we just debate for like 3-4 hours, in the end, I might have better points anyway. So among a number of ways to increase sales, arguably the best one is, or maybe we can say celebrity endorsement is arguably the best one. And we can say this is a practice of using a famous person's brand, right, or their image to improve or increase the awareness of a business, of a product. So this is a practice of using a famous person's brand or their image to increase the awareness of a product, right? And here we can say this, or not, I used this already. So we can say such a promotion has been transforming, or we should say such a promotion has been or had an unprecedented impact in certain markets. There you go. So such a promotion had an unprecedented impact in certain markets, with Air Jordan being a testament to this. You guys remember I talked about Michael Jordan here, right? So we can say Michael Jordan, right? Michael Jordan, one of the greatest basketball players in history. This is a good use of relative clause. I'm specifying who he is in the middle of the sentence, as you can see. So Michael Jordan, one of the greatest basketball players in history, collaborated with Nike in 1985 and has been selling, right, Jordan shoes ever since, right? And I think they're the most effective in the basketball market. And we can say it is now a multi-billion-dollar brand, and it has always been associated with Michael Jordan's greatness. Yeah, greatness is okay here. I already said greatest, and I can say greatness as a noun. So among a number of ways to increase sales, celebrity endorsement is arguably the best one. This is a practice of using a famous person's brand or their image to increase the awareness of a product. Maybe awareness about a product is better. Attention, right? Information. Such a promotion has had an unprecedented impact in certain markets, with Air Jordan being a testament to this. Michael Jordan, one of the greatest basketball players in history, collaborated with Nike in 1985 and has been selling Jordan shoes ever since. It is now a multi-billion-dollar brand, and it has always been associated with Michael Jordan's greatness. Right, and we can say many other athletes, including Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo, right, have played a huge part in helping improve the sales of many businesses, such as many companies, many companies such as Lay's. Was it Pepsi too? I think Messi did a Pepsi ad. If I just say Messi and then Pepsi, what am I gonna get? Yeah. Okay. And what about Ronaldo? Ronaldo endorsement deals. There was a shampoo as well. So Nike, Armani. Can I get a couple more? No? Okay, not the best source. Yeah, this one. Clear shampoo. Herbalife. Yeah, Armani as well. I can mention that. There's a watch company too. Nice. Herbalife. All right, I can write it down too. Anyways, the sales of many companies such as Lay's, Herbalife, Armani, and Pepsi. Pepsi with Messi deals, right? How many words is this part? 121. I think that's enough. And we can now write down, in conclusion, there are numerous methods to help a company sell more of its product or make its service more profitable. Because remember, businesses are about products and services. So sometimes it's tangible, sometimes it's not tangible. But no matter what you're offering, like I said, celebrity endorsement seems to be the best thing ever. So in conclusion, there are numerous methods to help a company sell more of its product or make its service more profitable. Among them, the most effective already. So among them, the most working, effective, efficient is okay, productive. Among them, the most proven one. How about proven? I think. Yeah, because many people did it and you can do it too, sort of. So among them, the most proven one is celebrity endorsement, right? And we can say a method that brings or that attracts the most attention, because awareness is attention. So we can say a method that attracts the most attention and can build trust in the brand. A method that attracts the most attention and can build trust in the brand. Not always, but it can. So I'm using this for a good reason, because I don't want to overgeneralize. But anyways, this is 304 words. Good enough for a 2 classic main body approach. You can do this. Really good examples today. Lots of good words, lots of good collocations. And I do think that I did explore this in detail. We talked about Michael Jordan. We talked about Nike's deal in detail. We talked about how it was impactful and how people associated the name with the greatness. And that's how the associations work. And I do believe now the concept of celebrity endorsement is successfully shown here with one of the best examples I can think of. So it was athletes. You could use celebrities from other businesses too, but in this essay, sports worked the best.